Welcome to Decoded, where we break down all the best strats and plays from the Valorant Champions Tour to help you in your ranked games. Today we're looking at Molotovs and all the different ways you can control the map as an attacker or a defender utilizing them. So, what is a Molotov? Great question. A molly is the ability that creates a temporary area of hazard on the ground. This includes Brimstone's Incendiary, Phoenix's Hot Hands, Viper's Snakebite, or Killjoy's Nano Swarm. Most mollies cause damage to any player that stands inside of the area of effect, but there are some exceptions. For example, Sage's Slow Orb acts like a molly, but instead of dealing damage, it causes a movement speed reduction. Today, we'll mostly be focusing on the standard damage-dealing mollies, but some of these tips could be applied to other molly-like abilities as well. With all that said, let's dive in some examples from the VCT pros. The most obvious use for a molly is blocking off an enemy's pathway. If you know that your opponents are around a corner or trying to push a certain angle, try tossing out a molly to temporarily block their path. This could force a rotation or stall their approach long enough for you to get to a more favorable position on the map. Take a look at how Asuna uses his molly here. He throws one out into Ascent B main after he sees the enemy Omen send a Paranoia through the wall, signaling a potential rush through this angle. Then after the fight, he throws another around the corner to briefly stall the push, again affording him just enough time to reload his low ammo. Asuna made creative use of his hot hands twice in a fight to slow the tempo of Envy's aggressive rush, giving him the time and the space he needed to get his picks. Let's toss it over to the man himself, Asuna. Get to explaining some of your favorite ways to use those mollies.
We threw hot hands out immediately at the start of the round in order to get our Omen across so that we could have a flash and smoke, and so that he could be inserted in B main and he could be in a good spot. We also knew that most teams rush B in ranked and pro play, so we wanted to stall that down in case they did do that. However, since they went really quickly, we ended up in this scenario where they ran through our molly, two of them, and the other two were separated away due to the molly that I threw in the start. So since we heard the two steps, I threw a Phoenix flash, we got 2 kills, and since the Phoenix molly recharges, I was able to get another molly and throw it again in order to give me some room to work with, and so that I could push up and capitalize on the opponent. In hindsight, it's not a good play, but it is what we needed in order to try to get back into this game and build me up. The best tip I can give to a duelist player trying to learn how to use their utility properly and better is knowing when to use it. You should know when you want to molly off short A on Haven and fight long A. You want to know what spot you want to molly and tell your teammates that you're mollying this certain spot so that they don't clear it. Most duelists struggle with abilities in general because they're used to just using their gun and just flash peeking and that's it. Let's say your teammate knows that someone's stuck in this corner, you can come and molly for them. Small stuff like that can just help out and elevate your gameplay to a different level.
Another great use for mollies is catching your opponents off guard by hiding them inside a smoke. If you place your molly directly inside or just behind a smoke, you can make it impossible for players to see until they push through the smoke, at which point they already have taken a good chunk of damage. It's important to try and hide the molly as much as possible so that it doesn't peek out from the edges of the smoke. Otherwise, your opponents might notice before they push in. If you're playing an agent like Killjoy, who has a molly but not a smoke, try to coordinate with one of your teammates to pull it off. As an attacker, mollies are a key tool to help you clutch out your post-plant fights. After the spike is planted, you can put a molly on top of it to block defenders from getting close enough to defuse. A well-timed molly on top of the spike can checkmate a round, especially if the defenders don't have enough health to tank the damage while they defuse. This is also a great option to go for when you know you're about to die, as your mollies will stay active even after you've been killed. Instead of taking an unwinnable gunfight, try to prioritize getting your molly on top of the spike. The extra couple of seconds it could buy you on the explosion countdown might be more valuable for you and your team. Now let's recap everything we've learned so you'll be ready to use mollies like a pro in your next ranked game. Use mollies to block off essential pathways on the map when you know that your opponents are pushing through there. Hide a molly inside a smoke to catch your opponents off guard and punish them for pushing too aggressively. And as an attacker, use mollies to protect the spike from being defused in post-plant fights. Try incorporating these pro molly strats into your play and see how your rank improves. Thanks for checking out this episode of Decoded. Be sure to tune into the VCT to learn more pro strats to bring into your ranked games. For upcoming matches, schedules, all the goodies, head over to ValorantEsports.com to get all that info you may need. We'll see you next time, hopefully, for more tips and tricks direct from the VCT pros.